Let's talk about encryption. So I'm going to assume that you have a basic understanding of what we mean by encryption. You're going to take a document and alter it in some way so that it's unreadable except by somebody who knows how to reverse alter that document. There are a couple of kinds of encryption that we want to understand. There is the first one here that we call symmetric encryption. By that we simply mean that the same key is used to encrypt and to decrypt that document. So this occurs at home, say on your router, on your wireless router. You have some word, banana, that you type into your computer, and the same word, banana, that you type into the router, and now the two can communicate because they're using the same key on both sides. That would be called symmetric encryption. Asymmetric encryption is a little more clever because you never have to get the key from one person to the other. If this, this is fine in my home when I'm talking to my wireless router, but if I'm talking to somebody in New York and I want it to be encrypted, I don't have that. That person doesn't have that key, and I would have to send them that secret key. So instead, we use something called a private key and public key pair. It's called a key pair, and Alice here has a private key pickle and a public key chicken. Now anything encrypted with pickle can be decrypted with chicken, and anything encrypted with chicken can be decrypted with pickle. Same thing over here, only we have orange and kimchi for Bob. So apparently Bob likes kimchi. I don't know. So he has a public key and a private key. Now the public key can be shared across the internet because we don't care in this type of encryption. So here's what happens. Alice wants to send a private message to Bob. She encrypts the document with his public key, kimchi. So Bob sends her the public key. We don't care about the privacy of that public key. So Bob sends that to Alice. Alice uses kimchi over here, the public key, to encrypt the document. Here's the encrypted document. And then when Bob gets it, he decrypts it with his private key, orange. So no keys, or I should say no private keys, have ever been passed across the network. And this works beautifully. There is so much that I wish we could go into on this, because we could spend a week on this. And get into some real interesting detail, which we don't have time for. But that's the basics of encryption.